Just making some technical adjustments here and getting started. And we have a really stellar lineup. I know, open mic hosts are supposed to say things like that, but in this case, it's actually true. A really fantastic lineup of musicians from both sides of the Atlantic, and then if people, people who are in the queue to go on have already signed up, basically. But if you want to sign up some other time for next week, you can go to that website there, davidrovics.com/POMM, Pandemic Open Mic Mondays, where you will also find some information on how to do things technically in a way that works. We are broadcasting on the Facebook page of KBOO Community Radio here in Portland, Oregon, as well as on the Facebook page of Popular Resistance, and also on various other platforms such as my YouTube channel and Twitch, LinkedIn, VK, my Facebook page, and the Facebook page of the Song News Network. And I'm going to start out with a song like I always used to do when I hosted open mics in the physical world, in IRL. And then I'll be turning it over to a whole series of wonderful guests. And people can comment, ask questions, make comments, etc. Publicly in the whatever platform you're watching on, and I'll be able to see the comments. And if you're a performer, there's a private chat function, which, and if you have anything you want to say to me or to other performers that are waiting to go on, we can all chat with each other in the private chat area there. And if you're watching on whatever platform, if you want to just take a moment to share this broadcast with your people on whatever platform, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, that would be fantastic. And what other housekeeping announcements? So we got the order of the first folks who are going to be going on, just so they know, mainly is Neil Cathan first, and then Rob Johnson second, and then Bev Grant third, and then Attila the Stockbroker fourth, and Paul Kaplan fifth. And I'll just leave it at that for now and tell everybody more about things as we go. But and I'll keep on updating. And I see, let's see, I see a message. Stephen McRandall, if you are having trouble with technical issues getting in to the wait in the queue, it may be because the queue is full, and try again in 10 or 20 minutes. This happens, and it's the first time I've ever run an online open mic, so I haven't really necessarily figured out how to do it in terms of guests and how many guests, and it's a work in progress here, like so many things during the pandemic. It's a work in progress. However, I have at least learned how to use this platform and host open mics on it. I can help anybody else wanting to do such things. I can host other events for people as well on their pages, if you are so inclined to look for help in these matters. I just actually put up a section on my website about it, on online hosting for people interested in that sort of stuff. It's not exactly a commercial announcement because that involves, the commercial aspect. It's just an announcement. Here's a song about another pandemic, and then we'll turn it over to this wonderful roster of guests now that we have a full queue of guests. I like using the word queue because it makes I miss England. World War was raging like the earth had never seen. A whole generation lined up in trenches with killing machines. But aside from a few islands and some mountain peaks, the pandemic killed more people in just 24 weeks. No one knows where it began. Speculation's gone on for years. The trenches of Europe is where the deadly strain appears. From packed trains and hospitals around the globe it spread, this war strain of the virus that left so many dead. The death toll was unequal, but barely anywhere was left untouched, though the greatest share of dying was reserved for the poorest colonies of the empires and their wars that created this disease. If you have a couple hours, then do something with me. Conduct a little research into your family tree. If you look into it, it won't take long. Quite likely you will find in 1918 you left an ancestor behind. Pandemic knew no borders. It went from the front lines, which had increased its deadliness as if by design. It circled the whole planet. So many people died. They dug mass graves everywhere. Put your relatives inside. A world war was raging like the earth had never seen. A whole generation lined up in trenches with killing machines. But aside from a few islands and some mountain peaks, the pandemic killed more people in just 24 weeks. That's the pandemic of 1918, and we are going to now, let's see. You don't need to know this, but maybe you should know this. I'm re-enabling audio processing. I wonder if that improves my voice at all. It definitely does not improve the guitar. If anybody, just before we start here, if you are performing now, coming up, or you're performing at a future open mic, which once again you can sign up for right there at davidrovics.com/POMM, Pandemic Open Mic Mondays. But regardless of whether you're about to go on or you're signing up for a future one, just so I'll just make one little housekeeping announcement, just on a technical level, and this also applies for anybody doing anything on Zoom as well. You can, if you're singing and playing an instrument at the same time, and you don't want it to sound really horrendous, then the best thing to do is use a headset. Ideally, also a USB mic like this one here that I'm talking into, but a headset so you can avoid the speakers echoing. And then if you're using either StreamYard, which we're using here, or Zoom, you disable audio processing. You go to the settings and then audio and disable audio processing, and you'll sound then it won't compress everything and make you sound horrible. Because what these platforms try to do is eliminate your instrument. Your instrument is considered to be extraneous noise, like the baby crying in the background, and it's trying to eliminate that. That's not what you want if you're playing an instrument. You don't want the instrument eliminated. So you have to disable audio processing if you don't want your audio to be processed away. That's how it works with these platforms, it seems, at least with this one and with Zoom. So there we go. There's your technical announcement for the day for the open mic. And I probably will not repeat that announcement all the time, but I know it's good to say now and then, every once in a while. And it's also on the sign-up sheet, along with other information for people interested in such things. And now we will begin the actual open mic here with Neil.
Hi.
Am I saying that right? I don't know.
Yes, you are one of the few people to ever pronounce my name.
I can't, but if I plug in these headphones... Aha! Now, okay. I did that exact same thing before. Now I can hear you. Yes. And
so yes, you did say my name right. You are one of the few people to ever get my name right on the first time. It was usually Kaplan, and I grit my teeth. So thank you.
And is it Irish originally, or
Yes.
what's the origin? Yeah. And you're in England now, or are you?
Yes, I am.
Where are we talking from? Where are you now?
Leeds in West Yorkshire. I don't know how much.
Yeah, I know Leeds. That's where Chumbawamba is from.
Yeah, and Gang of Four, and that's where our history ends. Big city, no personality.
That was it. Yeah, it's like what one of our upcoming guests, Attila the Stockbroker, says about Liverpool, that it's known for having produced the band Half Man, Half Biscuit.
Oh yeah, that's definitely who I think of.
Yeah. What you got for us today?
So I'm gonna do. I was gonna do 2 short poems, but I'm just gonna do one because
we can do 2. We got time.
And I liked the first poem, the serious one about the virus, the day I wrote it, and I've liked it less every day since. So I'm just not gonna bother.
I know how that is. And are there any particular online events that you're hosting or participating in on a regular basis? Which happens with people these days?
Away with Words open mic, which I think is every other Thursday from Hull, which is where I learnt to do poetry, essentially.
Oh, yes.
So check that out. It's a really good event.
Wonderful. And where can people find that?
Away with Words has a Facebook page that I should have memorized before now, but haven't. I'll promote it better next time I'm on.
Excellent. So here you go. I'll solo you.
Okay, so here's the poem. I saw you briefly. You were on the platform, I was on the train, and you had a look on your face. A look that made you look truly stupid. I scanned my fellow passengers' faces. They look intelligent, though one of them looks pretentious. I look outside again, and you are gone. I wonder briefly if the face comparisons are microcosmic of the us versus them nature of society, and decide that I'm thinking too hard. You just had a stupid face. Maybe you're really smart. Maybe you normally look really smart, but you didn't just now. Over the course of your life, you will be many things to many people. A friend, a rival, a lover, an annoyance, a confidant, family. Your relationships will mutate, grow, and change, and will mutate, grow, and change you with them. But to me, you will be forever crystallized, perfect in your moment of perfect facial stupidity. Goodbye, stupid face. That's it.
Fabulous. That is like like we've all had those thoughts of looking at somebody and we never made it into a poem, but you did. That's great. Thank you.
No problem. Thank you for having me on.
Thanks so much, Neil. Hope to see you again.
Bye.
And this is Pandemic Open Mic Monday. I should have shown you his name. I was intending to and then didn't. But that was Neil Kaplan. And coming up right away, also in England, we have Rob Johnson and then Bev Grant and then Attila the Stockbroker. We're doing a lot of pond hopping, back and forth. I noticed a couple people tried to get in to the queue and got turned away because we have already 10 people in. And just try again, please. And there will be room. And if you've just been on, then you can leave the studio and make room for others and watch somewhere else, like on, for example, any number of places you can watch this open mic. One place you can watch it, wherever you're watching it, you probably know where you're watching it, but here's one place you can not only sign up to it, but also watch it. But there's a lot of other places to watch it as well, including the Facebook page of Popular Resistance. Okay, but now coming right on from also England, somewhere further south, I believe, because you can't get much further south in England than Rob is. Rob Johnson.
Hello, good evening.
Yeah, great to have you here.
So nice to be here.
And Rob didn't tell us what his last name is, and I guess it's just one of those last names you don't need to tell us about, because there's too many people with it already, including a certain prime minister who we won't mention. But
Michael Shane.
You've been doing regular online events, have you, or just more sporadic? Have you been doing anything like systematic that you can tell people about?
I seem to be doing a Sunday night broadcast at 8 o'clock from the official official Facebook, and
Excellent.
it's okay. It's a bit stressful. I think after 3 goes, we've finally got the technology side of it sorted out. So the iPad doesn't die, the battery doesn't run out, and I'm the right way round. And I replaced the bulb in the light stand as well. So last night's was actually relatively coherent.
Excellent. The first open mic I hosted, my battery ran out too.
Why do these things happen? It's like,
Yeah. But now I've disabled the battery, so it no
Oh.
longer can run out. It just needs to be plugged in. So as long as electricity doesn't go, then yeah.
Yeah.
So at Rob Johnson Facebook page, they can find you. ROBB. If actually, it's not. It's once you put 2 B's in there, you're so much easier to find. Yeah.
There aren't many of us.
No. Thank goodness. Mom had some forethought.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
You got a song for us, Rob?
It's a pandemic song, so it's called Saint Mary. They called the Pig Mary and sent her to market to sell to the bourgeoisie bored with their diets. And the butchers and merchants made nothing but profit. And they danced round and round in a ring, singing, see how we all live like kings. And the blood from St. Mary, the snake and the rat, the blood from the monkey, the frog and the bat, they all bled together, the dog with the cat, and the bourgeoisie yawned in their beds, and nobody noticed the dead. First the dead were the poor and the sick and the old, and the nameless and homeless left out in the cold. But we breathe easily and believe what we're told. So we dance round and round in a ring, saying, see how we all live like kings. Then the dead got closer. Then the nurses got sick and the neighbours of neighbours, and over our shoulders the numbers got closer. The butcher's best boy, the merchant's fine daughter, the bourgeoisie hid in their beds, and accountants kept count of the dead. La 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 la. Well, they called it an accident waiting to happen, and everyone knew, but the butchers did nothing. And the merchants assured us they'd asked their accountants, and the bankers all said the same thing. Oh, see how we all live like kings. Well, call out your National Guard, close down your borders, program your drones and your million-pound missiles, send out your submarines, what are they good for? You and your army of clowns. St. Mary cuts all these things down. Oh, you and your army of clowns. St. Mary cuts all these things down. La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. St. Mary cuts all these things down.
Yeah. Rob Johnson.
Cheerful song.
Yeah, well, it's such cheerful times, you know. I did write a happy song about running out of toilet paper, but that's the best I could do as far as anything funny to come out of this. Yeah. Thanks so much, Rob.
It's a bit awkward, doesn't it? I mean, I don't know about you, but it's like, you know, just over the hill, there are people dying, and there we are we have a little isolation, and we miss doing gigs, and we miss social contact, miss people. But you know, I look out my window, I hear the bird song, and you know, just somewhere else, it's fucking carnage.
I look out my window here. I'm about 100 yards from an elder care facility, and I can only wonder what's going on in there because they never gather anymore. Like it used to be that everybody would be in the in the sort of gathering area looking out the window all the time, and there's nobody ever there now. So yeah.
PM Press's guy in England, their man in England, he says he lives opposite 3 care homes, and all he sees is body bags going out.
Yeah.
He said that one lost a third of the people, and it's just criminal.
Yeah, and somebody put up a plastic prefabricated sign in front of the elder care facility saying that the workers in there were heroes. Yeah, I'll bet their management did that to try to, make them feel better about the $12 an hour they're making.
Yeah.
Rob Johnson, go to his Facebook page on Sunday evenings. That's 8 p.m. GMT, I assume. Thank you so much, Rob.
Thanks, David. Pleasure.
And we got a whole bunch of people in the queue, and we have coming right up right now, crossing back across the Atlantic way faster than a Concorde jet. In Brooklyn, New York, we are back with Bev Grant. Bev. Hi. Great to have you back.
Shout out to Rob. It was really good to hear him. I last saw him, I think, in California at a Songs of Freedom and Struggle event or conference or something like that.
Was that when he was there with Leon Rosselson, maybe?
No, I don't think so. I think he was there by himself.
Oh, cool.
But he's wonderful.
Yeah, that's my favorite thing about doing this open mic is people from the U.S. and England primarily getting to sort of hang out together more often than they do normally.
Yeah.
What do you got? You got a song for us today? And I also want to, if you could I know you're a recurring guest, but I know that most people have not heard about anything that you're doing online in particular. And if you have any particular regular activities you're participating in?
Well, I'm going to try to participate regularly in this.
Oh, that's great. Then we can just tell them to come back here.
Yeah, people can go to my Facebook page, which is Bev Grant, and find out other things that I'm doing. I did a song circle with Robin Greenstein and some other wonderful singer-songwriters on Friday night. No, I'm kind of writing songs and making masks and working on my photography projects. And, for me, this has been a productive time, actually. And I can relate to what Rob was saying about, feeling relatively secure and content in my own personal space when all this chaos and horrible death and destruction's going on around us, and living in such a horrific, with such a horrific government that's so incapable of doing anything right,
Yeah.
So what do you
it's
do
so
about
this and then you there being in, and Rob is also near an epicenter, but you there right in the middle of New York City. It's like, yeah, that's the extra weird part, is that you can be doing just fine yourself, but literally down the block somebody's dying. Yeah.
Right. So,
what you got for us? Let's hear something.
I did my I've written a few pandemic songs, but only one that I've felt good about performing yet. So I did that one last week. I'm going to do I've been writing about immigration, and was this young man named Scott Warren, he's still alive, who was arrested some months ago, maybe a year ago, and went on and put on trial, charged with a felony for helping migrants find water and supplies to cross into the United States once they're in the desert, so that they don't die of starvation or dehydration. And he and a group of people have also been collecting the bones and trying to identify the skeletons they find, and they've been finding more and more of them since this administration came to power, although the last one wasn't too great on immigration either. But Scott he was not convicted. There was a mistrial, and he was retried. And was acquitted, which was a wonderful thing, but I don't think he's going to stop what he was doing. The land's turned to dust and it drifts through the door. Children are dying, nothing grows anymore. Just withered old corn stalks and a dried up street. The only hope left, an impossible dream. Desperation on the faces you see, driving them north. Whole families seeking the promise that's waiting for them, a chance for life to start over again. But there's bones in the desert, bottles empty and dry, once filled with water for the ones who pass by. Deterrence the message from the ones who patrol, who empty the water and empty their soul. Juanita, Carlos, Gordito y Sol left Guatemala, the northern border, their goal. All they could carry couldn't keep them alive, but the kindness of strangers helped them survive. Till they reached the border, slipped under the fence. The Sonoran desert gave them little chance, took days to cross, no water for miles. Those who would help ended up standing trial. And there's bones in the desert, bottles empty and dry, once filled with water for the ones who pass by. Deterrence the message from the ones who patrol, who empty the water and empty their soul. In Ajo, Arizona, where Scott Warren lives, there are others just like him, committed to give. We don't smuggle people, we just help them on their way. Now there's a law they call harboring, we can't obey. When you think of the loneliness of those who will die miles from their homes, yet underneath the same sky, you wonder what's left of our humanity, calling this a great nation with impunity. While there's bones in the desert, bottles empty and dry, once filled with water for the ones who pass by. Deterrence the message from the ones who patrol, who empty the water while they empty their soul.
Gorgeous. I think I heard you do that when you were out here with Charlie King at the Artichoke. Is that possible? Or I heard maybe I heard it online.
I don't think I'd written it yet.
No,
You
I maybe
heard
just
it online.
Yeah. Gorgeous. I actually wrote that's the title track to my latest studio album is about Scott Warren actually as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah, about No More Deaths. It's called Strangers and Friends. I was a stranger. I love that quote from the Bible. You know, I think actually we talked about that quote from Matthew. You know, the driving quote from the Bible that his organization No More Deaths is guided by Matthew 25. You know, I was hungry, they gave me food. I was thirsty, they gave me drink. Bev Grant, thank you so much for joining us, and I hope to see you again at the open mic soon.
Okay.
Yeah. Wonderful.
Thanks a lot.
And then hopping back across the Atlantic, and we are heading right over to my longtime friend and touring partner, Attila the Stockbroker, John Bain. Hello.
Hello, David. Nice to see you, man. Nice to see you.
Oh, great to
Um,
have you here. Great to
yeah,
see you.
that's good. I'm glad, and it was very, very simple technically to do as well. Like I've said to everybody until 2 months ago, or thereabouts, I would not have even begun to contemplate doing this kind of thing. But the phrase "you can't teach an old dog new tricks" is not true, because I've learned all kinds of stuff that I never thought I would have to learn. I'm a live performer. I do 100 gigs a year like you do, or more. I like a beer and going out there and telling it like it is. And now I've got to sit in front of a computer with a beer, or tonight actually tea, because I do have to have days off for beer. I'm like, and I've been doing loads of writing and loads of performing, loads of stuff online at my Facebook page, Attila the Stockbroker, facebook.com, Attila the Stockbroker. I'm doing loads of live gigs, raising a lot of money for our local food banks and support group.
Are you doing any a thing on a particular recurring basis that people can find, or they just go to your Facebook page?
No, I mean, I do arbitrary small rants of rage. I did one earlier on this afternoon, and then performances which are advertised on my page. I mean, there's a lot of followers on there. If you go to my Facebook page, you'll find it. I did a thing this afternoon. I mean, the absolutely criminal, complete, abject mess. And it's not a mess, because mess sounds accidental. The deliberate eugenics and disgusting stuff that is going on in this country around this thing. I mean, it's second only to what you've got over there. I mean, people look in disbelief at what's happening in the States, and they look in disbelief at what's happening in this country. It is completely and utterly ludicrous and
really
beyond belief. The amount. I mean, they're now talking about people going back to work. As the figures are still the contagion figures are still very high. It's completely and totally wrong. And the new slogan, they had the slogan "Stay at home, save lives." Okay, now the new slogan is "Stay alert."
Yeah, stay alert.
Right?
Their new slogan could be "Profits over people." I mean, that's some of the right wingers protesting at the state capitals here. That they have actual signs that say "Profits over people."
Really, I saw one that said "Let the weak."
Let the weak die. Yeah.
I mean,
that's another popular one.
Yeah,
I mean, absolutely.
I mean, there's a civil war to be fought with people like that. As far as
exactly,
people like that. Anyway, I wrote I wrote today actually. I put it up this morning. Just a little poem called "Stay Alert." Which sums up the new policy, because obviously when you're talking about staying alert, you're talking about being aware of a threat that is there, and this is a threat that's about 0.00000000001 millimeter long. Stay alert. It's huge and fat, with a flick knife and baseball bat. Stay alert. Like a pink thistle, an album cover by Throbbing Gristle. Stay alert. It's got a willy, waves it around, looks rather silly, but don't be fooled. Those pink spikes hurt. So keep your eyes peeled and stay alert. There you go. That's very short, that one. Can you still hear me, David?
Yes. I just soloed you, so you could be have the stage kind of thing.
Now, I've got two more, both on the same theme. The next one is very serious, because I mean, one of the things I wanted to say at this point is, this. I mean, I have an incredible story to tell you, which is that, I mean, to tell people that don't know, which will be everybody else here, I'm sure, which is that I owe my life to the pandemic of 1918.
That is an amazing, yes.
Because my father, who was 59 when I was born, was a soldier in the First World War. And in 1918, during the last German advance before they surrendered, he caught the Spanish flu, and he was in the field hospital while his trench was overrun during the German attack, and every single member of his battalion was wiped out. And he didn't talk about the war much. And obviously I was 10 when he died, but I remember him talking about the awful illness, the awful, pandemic that killed so many people, and the fact that he survived, and was able to create me together with my mum, obviously, as a direct result of the flu. And of course now, in my more troubled moments, I don't really do troubled, but in my kind of, I don't even do maudlin. In my more fatalistic moments, because I've now got this lung condition caused by, I've been Attila the Stockbroker for 40 years, as you know. I've earned my living at it for 38, 39. And I did about 2,700 gigs before the smoking ban. And even though I've been a non-smoker all my life, I've now got lung conditions, so I have to be really careful. I mean, I'm not on the top, list of people in danger, and I still cycle and I do loads of stuff, but it's, it's a worry.
It is, and the way the clubs used to be, and if you didn't experience it, you just cannot imagine how smoky it used to be.
In places like East Germany before the war came down, it was like a party duty to smoke 50 cigarettes a day.
I mean, in Denmark, they would just close the windows and everybody in the room would light up a cigarette. I mean, I don't know how they're all still alive.
I know, it's incredible. So this one is called Take Courage. It's about it's just about how we deal with this as human beings. It's called Take Courage. Another day, 2 puffs on my inhaler. My breathing calm and steady as before. No sudden cough, no temperature. I'm ready to write and think and help for one day more. My big strong arms seek solace in the garden. My cycling legs flex slowly with regret. No pleasure in those rides along the coast path when every fellow human is a threat. I'm fit for 62, no doubt about it, except my lungs, and that's no fault of mine. They bellowed me through some 2,000 concerts when all those cigarettes were thought just fine. They still fuel me for hours when I'm out cycling. There's millions of folk far worse off than me. I didn't feel such fear when I had cancer. That pink mass in my bladder I could see. The fear we feel is normal. Let's not hide it, but don't let it supplant the love of life. Do all you can to help the folk around you. I see that courage in my steadfast wife. And if the battle comes, well, now I'm ready to take the bastard on with all my might. And if I lose, you'll face a brand new future. Please use my poems and songs to spread some light. Cheers.
Beautiful. And
I have one final one, which is the Coronation, which is a rap, and it is kind of funny, but not at the same time. And it goes like this. This little rap's here to inspire us not to get coronavirus. Lady Gaga, Miley Cyrus, they don't want coronavirus. It's a disease coming on the breeze, and none of us would like it, please. It's a disease coming on the breeze. Piss off, Trump. It's not Chinese. Bloody hell. It's a pandemic running through the world at a rate systemic. Let me spell out my position. I'm 62 with a lung condition. Let's all try hard to avoid it till researchers have destroyed it. Don't be a cranky. Don't get fogey. Use that hanky. Bin that bogey. This little rap's here to inspire us not to get coronavirus. Lady Gaga, Miley Cyrus, they don't want coronavirus. It's a disease coming on the breeze, and none of us would like it, please. It's a disease coming on the breeze. Piss off, Trump. It's not Chinese. Please be kind and give assistance in a way that keeps a distance. Get your normal shopping done. There's enough for everyone. Panic buying stupid caper. Put back all that toilet paper. What a crappy shit idea. Local pub delivers beer. This little rap's here to inspire us not to get coronavirus. Lady Gaga, Miley Cyrus, they don't want coronavirus. It's a disease coming on the breeze, and none of us would like it, please. It's a disease coming on the breeze. Piss off, Trump. It's not Chinese. New dance called the Pontius Pilate. Time we all learn to freestyle it. Water hands and a bar of soap, cleaner than a microscope. No, don't scratch your dirty bridge, then go down and raid the fridge. Please keep safe, please keep well. Coronavirus, go to hell. Thank you, David.
Fantastic. That's a great public service announcement with also like politics thrown in. But I'm afraid to ask what a bridge is. I may have just learned a new body part.
Please don't scratch your dirty bridge. Please don't scratch your dirty bridge and go down and raid the fridge. Your dirty bridge, we are after the watershed. Your dirty bridge is what polite people like you would probably call the perineum. It's the bit between your scrotal sac and your anus.
Oh, fantastic. Only you would know what that's called. And there's actually a slang word for it.
No, we invented that word.
Fantastic. Fantastic. Thank you so much, John.
It's so rare and new that I've actually managed to do this on sort of on the radio.
Oh, excellent.
Not knowing what it is either, and I don't actually say. So then you just got to
no.
But since you asked, you know,
like chug nuts, we don't need to define these things. But what did was that on Radio 4 or?
No, it was just on local. Yeah.
Oh, great, wonderful.
Anyway,
thanks so much, Attila the Stockbroker, John Bain.
Yeah, as I say, I'm all over the place. I'm doing lots of stuff. You'll find me on Facebook. My real name's John Bain. My stage name's Attila the Stockbroker. You'll find me all over the place. Thank you, comrade. All the best.
Thank you, John. Take care.
Cheers, man.
Wonderful. And then skipping once again back across the Atlantic, so fast at the speed of light. But I'll just also mention who else is coming up. Pete, we got Paul Kaplan coming right up next, and then Pete Kronowitt, and then Eddie Nix. all three are in the United States, and then we'll be moving back across the Atlantic for Bernard Puckett after that, and then Joel Landy, and if you are, I think there might be room for more people to wait in the wings. Dean Stevens and Stephen McRandall are also coming up, and yeah, and so then that's all for the housekeeping announcement. And now moving right along here to the East Coast of the United States with Paul Kaplan. Hey, Paul.
Hi, everybody. Hi, David.
Any dramatic developments since last week?
No, I survived. That's
You're still here? Excellent.
yeah, that's rather dramatic these days. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
What you
doing a
got
little
for
more
us
writing.
today? Oh, great.
Last week I sang you a song that was brand new, and now today I have a quite old song from the 80s, actually,
Oh, wonderful.
that I bring out in times of, well, when I feel like we need more commitment, community, hope, and that's a lot lately. Something John just said before those great poems sparked a thought in me about protecting the weak, and you could say that's what civilization is. So you have a choice
Yeah.
to make.
Society, the
Yeah,
concept.
yeah. That's what society's all about. So
Yeah.
some people don't seem to believe in it.
No.
So this is called "We Shall Stay Here." I changed all my settings a little bit. That's working okay?
Yep. Sounds good.
Okay, here I go. This was an empty space until our love appeared. Now that we found our place, we shall stay here. If we can sing in tune, even the stars may hear sounds from a tiny room, we shall stay here. Out of the earth we sprang, I know, into the earth we'll go, but till our voices break, harmony hides our fear under the love we make, we shall stay here. Out of the earth we sprang, I know, into the earth we'll go, but till our voices break, harmony hides our fear under the love we make, we shall stay here. We shall stay here. We shall stay here.
Lovely. Paul Kaplan, thanks so much for joining us again, and I hope you can come back.
I will certainly come back. Thanks so much.
Excellent. Thank you. And if there's anybody, Peter Werby who commented on Facebook that he had trouble hearing Paul. If anybody else had trouble hearing Paul, maybe say something. But it sounded great to me, but I'm wearing headphones. So if you're listening through laptop speakers, then I don't know if it was too quiet for anybody out there. But I like to know these things so I can tell people about them. Anyway, it may have been disabling compression also makes you quieter is the problem with disabling compression, but having compression on makes you sound bad. So it's nice to disable it, but then it's a matter of having good speakers or being close to the mic or something. I don't know. It sounded great to me anyway. And we have coming up next, staying within the United States, we have Pete Kronowitt. Hey, how are you? Hey,
Great. How are you?
good. But you're somewhere more in the middle of the country, aren't you? Where are you? I'm never organized enough to actually consult these things when I'm actually bringing people on.
Yeah, I'm a little bit south of you. I'm in San Francisco.
Oh, San Francisco. Oh, I was totally wrong. Yeah, I don't know where I had in my mind, but you're not there. You're San Francisco.
Correct.
Yeah, excellent.
Yeah. Well, it's great
What?
to be here. The last time you were gracious enough to take a phone call from me, and I think it was like 2016 when I was really starting to decide to perform more, and you just kind of gave me all these instructions on what to do, and it was just such a a nice, sweet thing that you did to spend some time
Aw.
with me. So
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
I'm always, it's always so nice to be remembered fondly rather than the guy who didn't give me the time of day and walked off. And yeah, I don't I hopefully don't get remembered that way. But and are you doing any particular regular online events since the world fell apart?
I've done so much since we last talked. I mean, I was really trying to figure out how to sing songs more about what's going on, and whether they're political or topical. And so what I've done since the last time we've talked was I've been doing tours for state legislative candidates across the country,
Ah,
and the idea is to help them Democrats get elected to state senates where we can flip chambers and stop gerrymandering, because this year's the census, and once the census happens and lines are redrawn, then we're kind of screwed for another decade unless we flip it this year. I've been doing a lot of volunteer work with Face the Music project, with Sister District Project, and they're focused on figuring out which races are the most important ones to work with. And I've also then tried to recruit other artists to go do what I'm doing.
and the idea is supporting certain kind of more progressive Democratic candidates.
Well, the idea is to stop the the extremism that's going on in the Republican Party. So, depending on the state, the different states, you're not going to have progressives, right? They'll support at least a minimum level of progressive platform ideals. They believe in climate change. They'll support women's rights. They'll make sure that healthcare and education are accessible and available. So, those are the main things that Sister District looks for. And then the group that I've kind of put together, it's a loose group of people who are trying to do good with shows, is called Face the Music Collective. And so I'm doing a series of shows. Now I'm doing them online, of course, like everybody.
Yeah.
And, I have shows coming up later in May.
Where can people find them?
So they can, if they like our Facebook page, Face the Music Collective.
Face the Music Collective.
Yeah,
If they
Face
look
the
for that
Music
on Facebook.
And yeah, they can find that on Facebook or facethemusiccollective.org, and they can get a sense of what we're doing and find our Facebook page. So
Yeah.
yeah.
You got a song for us?
I do, and since it's what really drew me is the fact that you're doing this for the pandemic, and I had just written a song about what's going on, and
Oh, great.
what's really, I mean, there's so many things that are just horrific across the world, and but healthcare workers, I read more than 10,000 healthcare workers have caught COVID-19, and just the mortality rates kind of dictate that means at least 300 are now dead, because that was a month ago. and it's likely quite a bit more than that. But this is a kind of at a higher level in terms of what the families go through and stuff like that. So. When the world is a little bit colder, you can be a blanket for me. When this world gets a little bit darker, you're the light that I see. If your arms cannot hold me, it's your love I still feel. Then your heart is the only beating thing that is real. Stay safe, stay safe, until you're home here with me. Stay safe, stay safe. Home is where you should be. I remember what it was like before everything changed. In such a short time, we hardly talk now. We should be able to agree. Have we forgotten what's important? We argue endlessly. We're still human, and it's not right. We all want the same thing. Stay safe, stay safe, until you're home here with me. Stay safe, stay safe. Home is where you should be. Home is where you should be. Until you're home here with me.
Lovely.
Thank you, David. Thank you
Pete
so much.
Kronowitt, thanks so much for joining us. Hope to see you again soon
Yeah,
here
I'll
in
come back.
cyberspace. But please do.
Yeah, okay.
Please do.
Keep
Good.
doing the great stuff, David.
Will do. You too. See you soon.
See ya.
Wonderful. And what was I going to say? Oh yeah. We have there's room. If you happen to be one of the people out there who signed up but who tried to get in the queue and got a message saying the queue is full, it is not full anymore. There's room for at least 3 more people to be waiting to go on. So please, if that's if Beverly is out there, or one of those folks, Lucy, who signed up and didn't get in the queue, please try again. And there's my housekeeping announcement. And next we have, staying here in the United States, or what they call the U.S. occupied land here in Kickapoo country, is Eddie Nix. How are you, sir? Oh, wait a sec. We're having a little.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Here we go. Here we go. Now we can hear you. Yeah.
Excellent.
How's it going there in Wisconsin?
Oh, it's great. It's great. We're just getting into spring. The weather's changing. The morels are popping. Ramps out in the woods. It's forager's delight.
Gorgeous. And you're in the woods now. Are you at the bookstore or are you at home?
Yeah, I'm here in the bookstore. You can see I'm upstairs, where I think you've stayed a few times, if I'm not mistaken. David's been awesome, coming, I think, 5 or 6 times over the last 15 years. We started a community radio station. He came and did our first benefit, and since then it's just been a magic relationship. So thanks.
And this is an amazing bookstore. I mean, I know that obviously people are tuning in from various places and can only see those shelves behind you, but it is a massive warehouse full of 500,000 books in the middle of Wisconsin, in a beautiful town called Viroqua, which most people have never heard of, even people from Wisconsin. But it's a wonderful town, and it's near the Kickapoo. What is it? National Park? Is it Forest Park? Something, both. But it's gorgeous. That whole
river,
area.
The river, and there's a big wilderness area of 8,000 acres.
Yeah. And there's and Eddie is also hosting a little festival from the 15th to the 17th this month, which I will also be participating in, along with some really you got Greg Brown on the bill and all kinds of fantastic songwriters, and that's going to be at people can look for Bookstock, right? Bookstock.com, is it, or Bookstock?
Yeah, there's a couple websites. The easiest one to remember is books.coop. So we have a cooperative, but yeah, books.coop, and it's Bookstock 2020. And yeah, there's 50 stores and 50 musicians and a lot of other people submitting stuff. So if any of your people want to go to that website, your friends and fans, and upload a 1-song video, we'll be able to air it during that weekend as sort of filler between the big sets. And it would really be beautiful to have an expansion of that. Authors are also welcome to upload a couple-minute video of a poem or just a shout out to bookstores. We're trying to raise money for both bookstores and independent musicians. So, it's endless what we could do. Yeah. So yeah, please tune in next weekend.
You got a poem for us, Eddie?
No, but I thought I'd do a bit of bibliomancy.
Whatever that is, great.
Well, it's divination through books, and the nearest book I got is this one, which is "The Moon Is Down" by Steinbeck, and it's just here. So give me a number, David, between 1 and 150 or something.
Oh, 123.
123. All right. So, normally you just drop these books on the floor, and then whatever it opened up to would be the foretelling. So page 123. I'm just going to pick a random line, and it's the last line on the page, and then that's all I really have to say. Molly said, "Good evening, Annie. I didn't expect you tonight. Take your things off and get warm. It's cold out." I don't know.
There's a lot to that line. That could be, that's deep. Yeah.
It's cold out, man. It was an honor to be part of this illustrious grouping of your friends and family. So greetings from Wisconsin, folks. Thanks.
Thank you, Eddie. I'll see you at Bookstock this coming up May 15th to the 17th. Books.coop. Excellent.
Thanks, man.
Thank you, Eddie. See you soon.
Bye-bye.
And then skipping back across the pond so easily without catching any viruses on the way, in London, England, here we are. We got Bernard Puckett coming right up, and then just so people know, we got Dean Stevens after Bernard, and then Stephen McRandall, then Joel Landy, and wonderful to see Lucy Murphy in the lineup there. Fantastic. And there's even, and if you have recently performed but you're still in the green room, then go watch from somewhere else to make room for more people in the green room, the Facebook page of Popular Resistance, or twitch.tv/David Rovics. You can watch from there, or davidrovics.com/POMM. You can watch the open mic there if you are inclined, and just not in the green room, unless you're waiting to go on, in which case stay right where you are. And that's coming right up. Once again, Bernard, Dean, Stephen, Joel, Lucy. And now in England, as I mentioned before I got sidetracked with more housekeeping announcements. One of the most, I mean, you really wouldn't, you have to see it and see him in action in order to really get the idea. I don't think it's possible to convey, I'm not sure, on the internet, but he is one of the most exciting folk club hosts you will ever witness. From London, England, Bernard Puckett.
Thank you.
Also a fabulous poet and songwriter. But your abilities as an MC kind of like, I mean, they all go together very well with the songwriting and the poetry. But
I was once told being the MC is the sucker's job by someone who got lumbered to doing it, and in the way that was sort of 27 years ago, in the way that these things sort of creep on you.
Why did they say that?
Well, I think the situation is you can't sort of do your set the way you want to do it. You've got to work the audience, and you've got to fulfill certain functions and things. Like you've seen the way I perform, and there is a slight element of shock tactics to start off with, to shake the tree and see what apples fall out. So
it works. But it is kind of limiting in a way, in the sense of
the occasionally they want you to do that, and you may want to do other things. The joke is that one of the things that I do that people like was the first thing I ever did in a folk club when I was 21 years old, and I'm now 67 years old, and I'm still doing it. And of course, like it's Jumping Jack Flash by the Rolling Stones. Now, and then it was radical. Now the Rolling Stones are all in their 70s, and they're still doing Jumping Jack Flash. So it doesn't make it any worse, or it doesn't. But it slightly changes it in that it's moved into the tradition. So.
Right, makes sense. Yeah. What you got for us?
Well, I'll first of all quickly show this, that this is sort of be alert. We all need alerts. I think that's
the new takeoff on Johnson's.
Yes. But
and people should remember Trad to Mad.
Trad to Mad. That's running for each month. We've had April. We're now into May, and we'll do it for June. So Islington Folk Club website, and this song is called "Searching for the Green Way Home." I know it's me, it's not you. I know the truth isn't always true. The world is round, the world is flat. Feed me fibre, fruit and fat. Searching for the green way, searching for the green way, searching for the green way home. I was born and I will die. I live my life and I get by. I'm not that good, I'm not that bad. I've been lucky with what I've had. Searching for the green way, searching for the green way, searching for the green way home. There is waste and there is greed. There is want and there is need. I own stuff just for fun. have my stuff when I'm done. Searching for the green way, searching for the green way, searching for the green way home. Wasted time and wasted love, wasted space, waste enough to fill a book of things I said on the shelf but never read. Searching for the green way, searching for the green way, searching for the green way home. With no agenda and no plan, I kind of like my fellow man. I know I'm guilty like the rest, failed to pass that lifelong test. Searching for the green way, searching for the green way, searching for the green way home. Like a rambler on my way across the field through the day, I read the map, I see the sign, and always hope the sun will shine. Searching for the green way, searching for the green way, searching for the green way home. Thank you, David.
Oh, beautiful, Bernard. Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
Is that a recent? You just wrote that?
Well, I wrote it about 3 years ago, and then I didn't perform it, and then I've rediscovered it, like in rummaging through sort of things that sort of I thought, oh, that's better than I thought it was.
Yeah,
you know?
And it feels like it was written last week too.
Yeah.
Yeah, great. Thank you, sir. We'll see you soon.
Yeah, bye-bye.
Bye-bye. And then, once again, crossing the Atlantic. We'll be zipping back and forth across the Atlantic for the rest of this set. And if, by the way, if there's anybody out there who was going to join the open mic and got a announcement saying that the queue was full, it is most definitely not full anymore. I mean, we have a wonderful lineup of folks left to perform, and we don't necessarily need more performers. However, you're very welcome to click that link again, and if you do, you will not get the room is full message, but rather you'll just be in line to perform. So, housekeeping announcement over. Moving to Boston, Massachusetts, at the Community Church of Boston, I believe. Are you there? You're at the church itself. Dean Stevens, hello. Great to have you back. Your beard grew since the last time I saw you, which was only like 2 weeks ago, but mine did too. So that's not surprising, but yours is more noticeable. Dean, how are you holding up? How's the past week treated you?
They're going by in about 5 minutes each week. It seems like this just started a half an hour ago, doesn't it?
It really drags, doesn't it? Or it rushes, or both. I don't know. It just the days merge. But I have some structure to my days because I host an open mic every Monday. I don't know about you, but are you doing broadcasting from the community church on Sundays? Is everything online now?
We're hosting church every Sunday on a Zoom video conference and on YouTube Live, and we have some really interesting programs, and they'll go on through June, and we usually knock off after June, but there's so much to talk about, and it's so easy just to click the thing on that we want to keep doing it and have different speakers and different presenters.
And you don't need to worry about people not wanting to go to church on a nice July day, because they're going to be sitting inside anyway. But for anybody out there, who may be allergic to the idea of church, this is not the church that you're thinking of. This is like wonderful, popular education happening every Sunday. Wonderful speakers talking about relevant, contemporary political issues for the most part, and also wonderful performers that the church actually not only has performing at the church, but the secret is they even pay the performers. That's amazing. This is a wonderful left-wing church that pays their performers, the Community Church of Boston, and they can find out the broadcast on Zoom. They look up Community Church of Boston. You'll find it. Yeah. What you got for us, Dean?
I'm thinking about you out on that coast, and I'm thinking about the fact that my wife and I and my boy were going to be out there next weekend for a wedding. My brother and sister-in-law and the kids live in Eugene, and we were going out there for a wedding. It got postponed and they eloped. But I love every time I go out there. I used to do occasional tours with Linda Waterfall of blessed memory from Seattle. And this song is inspired by those trips and those travels. I've been taking requests on my Facebook page, and so this is my chance to practice for when I fill this request later this afternoon. The song is called Salmon River. Cry song, shed a tear for a northwest salmon, sockeye streak of muscle, brawn, and steel-headed will. Swimming salt, water fresh, water feast, or famine. Their battle is uphill. Cast an eye of wonder at a river fast and long. It is a highway, it is a maiden voyage, a swan song. Feel a force that among the rushing ripples flow as the fish on a survival death journey go. Salmon River winds its way through Idaho, and it sparkles as it runs, glistens as it goes. Many rapids bubbling down cry a last farewell. Where the sockeye will go now, no tongue can tell. There is a sad song in the crystal waters flow. Where have my salmon gone? The river wants to know. In spring came salmon, gave the river its name, shimmering salmon. One day no more came. Say a prayer with the Indian, came here to offer thanks for this bounty, this feast. Fill the river bank to bank for this life-giving dance of 10,000 years, cut short by the plans of a corps of engineers. Cry your many angry words at an arrogant race. Gotta grab all the land, all the water, all the space. Gotta make, gotta take, gotta get, gotta plunder. Gotta dam it up, gotta chop it up, gotta plow it all under. Swim upstream 1,000 miles where you spawn and helpless lie, with the new ones being born around, the old ones spent will die, in a never-ending circle of a life-giving dance. Stand with me before this miracle. Does the sockeye stand a chance for the salmon journey? It is the first and the last journey down the Salmon River to the Snake, to the Columbia River, to the cold dark Pacific. This teeming life delivers, if not swallowed in the web of a toxic grip, they will be following that scent on a never-ending trip. If not taken in the drift nets, factory ships, through the krill-laden Arctic sea waters they'll slip. If not slaughtered for the worth of the bright orange roe, back to the waters of their birth, salmon doggedly go. Back to the dams the electric ratepayers built, to the Cascade clear-cut river turned to silt, against a current of water, against the current of time, against the gotta get yours, gotta go get mine, against a plenty of blame to go around, against a river been so tamed that you cannot hear the sound of the salmon's journey. Is it the last journey? Salmon River winds its way through Idaho, and it sparkles as it runs, glistens as it goes. Many rapids bubbling down cry last farewell. Where the Sockeye will go now, no tongue can tell. There is a sad song in the crystal waters flow. Where have my salmon gone? The river wants to know. In spring came salmon, gave the river its name, shimmering salmon. One day no more came.
Dean Stevens, lovely to think about salmon. That's a lovely thing to think about instead of a pandemic for a few minutes. Wonderful.
Let's have a little pandemic for a moment to get our minds off the pandemic.
Yeah. Thank you, Dean Stevens. See you soon, I hope.
Glad to join you, David. Thanks for doing this.
Oh, yeah. And we got 3 more wonderful folks coming up for this open mic. Stephen McRandall back across the Atlantic, then Joel Landy, then Lucy Murphy. And thanks for joining us for the 3rd Pandemic Open Mic Monday. And once again, if you want to sign up for a future open mic, like next Monday, for example, then please just go anytime to davidrovics.com/POMM to sign up. Pandemic Open Mic Mondays. And with no further ado, moving back across the Atlantic, Stephen McRandall, great to see you again. How are you holding up?
Grand, David. Thanks a lot for having us back on.
Oh, yeah. Wonderful pleasure. That story you read last was great. You got something else, another story for us of some kind?
It's an old one now. It's 50 years old. But,
great.
I think I'm going to read it to you anyway.
Wonderful.
So I'll read it to you now.
Yeah, great.
It's Belfast in the 1960s. It's a general background, my general background. It's called A Rat on the Wall. I sat in silence on the bottom steps of the stairway. With my knees tucked under my chin, I fitted snugly inside a ray of sunlight, which penetrated the dark hallway through the stained glass window above the heavy wooden door. In the 4 years since my father's death, a vindictive, somber air permanently lurked in the house. Harbours of warmth and light were frail, transient things. The girls had already left for school, and the house was deserted, save for me and my mother, Ruth. She was making the most of the rest before her hard day's work began. I was hoping desperately for a reprieve from school. One of the teachers at the school had taken it upon himself to iron out the wrinkles in my character by beating me so severely that I had to attend hospital. Ruth had complained about the violence done to her child, but had been told that the teacher in question was soon to be retired and that taking the complaint any further would be a big stab in the back for Catholic education. I'd survived that teacher's class, but I still hated school. And by way of a plea, I let loose a faked, rasping cough, to which my mother responded in her exasperated, exhausted voice. If I have to get out of my bed to get you out to school, I'll break your 2 legs. I trailed my feet as I trudged up Blackwood Street, deliberately scuffing the toes of the shoes she had worked so hard to buy me. My vain efforts to be excused from school had made me late again. I would be punished again, but it was not totally without compensation. Free from the school kids and workers who had already travelled to their appointed places of toil, the road was not busy, and apart from 2 women downstairs, the bus was empty, allowing me full reign of the upper deck. I took as my right the front seat, from where I had a stately view of all the little streets, shops, and people. The bus rolled down the Ormo Road, past with the stink of the gasworks, layered through the windows, then through the markets area to Kronowitt Street, where it slowed down to turn left into May Street. It was just on the corner of May Street, where the bus travelled at its slowest pace, that I jumped from the open platform, running to stay on my feet onto the pavement. I passed the courthouse and turned down the back of Town Hall Street as far as the court cells, before turning left to face the high-walled police barracks. Their huge gates were open this morning, allowing a view of the large, impressive cobblestone courtyard. The entry, which served as a back entrance to my primary school, was lined on one side by the barracks wall, and on the other by a fruiterer's warehouse and a flour mill. Inside the mill, an unmanned machine for loading bags of flour onto lorries still turned. Normally, the entry was swarming with boys who played hurling, handball, and Gaelic football, soccer being banned on account of its association with England. They fought in the entry too, and the high walls amplified and echoed the screams and yells which normally accompanied most of their actions. But this morning, the boys had already answered the bell and the entry was empty. The mill workers had already disappeared for tea break, and apart from the clicking of their unmanned machine, there was an eerie silence in the entry. I'd heard of the big bombs that killed all the people and left the buildings and machinery still standing. I thought the end of the world had come and there was nobody left but me. The solitary slap of my shoes on the concrete alleyway echoed back at me with menace. I might have run in blind, childish panic had I not seen it. The rat, like an eighth wonder from a Marvel magazine, defied gravity and clung 4 feet from the ground on the corner of the barracks wall. I'd never seen a rat so clearly before. It had brown fairish hair and beady eyes, and its body ran parallel with the length of the bricks. We observed each other briefly before scurrying in our separate directions. The rat made its way back to the mill, while I ascended the broad cast iron stairs which led from the schoolyard to the upper floor of the old stone school. It was a peculiar building, built in the 1870s, made of large, coarse granite stones, with its upper floor jutting out to overhang part of the schoolyard. The yard was walled off, leaving the overall image to resemble one of the old tower houses, built for protection rather than a place for education. I tried to sit unnoticed on the long wooden bench at the back of the classroom, but the black smocked, chubby figure of the brother beckoned to me. The brother squatted down on his hunkers beside the hearth to bend his leather strap over the open coke fire which burnt in the centre of the partly partitioned room. I stood with little defiance, but the disinterested acceptance of the unavoidable. I missed the bus, I tried, but the excuse seemed lame, so I added, "I'll stop to watch a rat on the wall in the entry." "There are no rats in the vicinity of this school," stated the brother categorically. We were an interesting diversion for the rest of the class, and perhaps it was for the entertainment of my audience that I cheeked. "If there are no rats in the school, then how come you put rat poison down in the cupboards?" My audience were pleased with the show, but the brother was not. "There are no rats in the vicinity of this school," he repeated, and had me hold out my hands so that I could be punished for being late. The brother strapped unusually hard, so that each stroke left a red swelling. After 3 strokes on each hand, I expected my punishment to be over. I folded my arms across my chest, fit my injuries snugly into my armpits, and half turned to return to my seat. But the brother caressed me lightly across the face with the strap, and smiling sadistically, had me extend my hands one more time. This time I was to be punished for telling lies about seeing rats. Brother Bozine did not come from Belfast, but from one of the 26 counties which were no longer under British rule. His years of experience as headmaster of a school, which existed under pressure within a sectarian state, had taught him the necessity of blind loyalty. And as he strapped the boy, that was the true message which he wished to convey. Oxford Street Christian Brothers Primary School was a good, clean school which had no faults, no problems, and no rats. The brother continued to strap. I stood there blubbering. My lack of intelligence, our naive, stupid stubbornness, forcing me to stick to my story. There was a rat on the wall.
God, that is amazing, Stephen.
I thought, man.
There's so many layers of like, yeah. I mean, yeah. To your experience of life and anyone's experience of life, but the way you portray those so many different layers of the experience, yeah, it's fantastic. That's fantastic.
Cheers,
Thank
man.
you so much.
Thanks a lot for
oh man, it is
for doing it and for your songs and all that stuff. Cheers, man.
An honor and a pleasure. I hope to have you back soon for another chapter.
Sure,
great, wonderful.
Sure.
Stephen McRandall from Belfast, and wonderful. And now skipping back across the Atlantic once again to the East Coast of the U.S., New York specifically, we have Joel Landy.
Hello.
Hey, how are you?
Hello, good.
Excellent.
We're hanging in there. We're doing all right.
Wonderful. It's interesting how the background, the air, every room sounds a bit different. The background, like you can hear there's birds. Maybe are there birds? There's an open
birds
window
out there. There's a window. There's definitely
a window. That's nice.
The thing is, you can't tell where I am. Last week I was in the living room with a white wall. This time we have one of these baffle setups, so I put a drape and a map of the planet there, something.
Yeah, I like the planet. The planet is.
I like the
nice.
planet too. It's a good planet.
It even looks good on
as far as
on
planets
wall.
go.
Yeah, it's my favorite planet.
And this is where I teach. I'm doing the online teaching. Yes. So.
Oh wow, yeah, high school. It's a bit of a better level to try to do online teaching than some of the other online teaching that's going on, which just seems completely nuts. But at least in high school, it's like at least conceivable, I suppose. How's it going?
It's going okay. It's interesting the way it's set up here. See, I have a 12-year-old. Well, she's going to be 12 on Thursday. She's in 6th grade. So my wife, who works for the UN, she's working at home. I'm a high school teacher. I'm working at home, and my daughter is attending classes. So it's 3 laptops and 3 different spaces, and just quiet in the room unless someone's talking during one of their sessions. So we've worked it out. I'm one of the lucky ones. I mean, there are some of my students, and this is a Title I school, which means there isn't a hell of a lot of money. Wondering where their next paycheck, wondering if someone's going to come back with something, and they might have 4 kids and 2 devices, and everybody's got to attend school.
And they don't have separate rooms for each person to do that
really?
in some kind of environment where they can really focus. Yeah.
So you're asking me how I'm doing. I'm doing pretty good. I'm doing pretty good given everything going on. So I'm one of the lucky ones.
You and your wife both working. That would qualify you both as in the lucky ones and working from home.
2 paychecks, yeah. And we're getting food delivered. We got lucky enough to be on one of those bandwagons, but tip the people nice for showing up. And at 7 o'clock we stick our heads out the window and bang a pot in a pan and scream, "Healthcare workers, essential workers." So I'm part of that.
Yeah.
But it's the right thing to do.
Yeah. And you've been participating in, along with this open mic, you're also regularly participating in the People's Music Network open mic and any other particular regular online events?
Yeah, the one that Steve Suffett and Donnie Carroll do, the Sunnyside Singers that you played at once.
Oh, where is that happening online?
It's you get an invitation from Alice Farrell and you click on the Zoom session and you're in.
Okay.
But
And
if you want
people can-
information, I'll hit you up with that information and we can share it around here.
Is it the kind of thing people can watch? Is it public? They can watch it somewhere, or they need to be in the Zoom? It's not like broadcast somewhere.
Well, I'm not sure if they do the People's Music Network kind of thing where they
where they broadcast on Facebook, right?
But if people show up for it, you know, you can stay busy and try out new material and feel connected somehow.
What you got for us?
Well, one of the things I really like about People's Music Network and about associating with the folks who are out there is that we value different points of view, you know, even the point of view when it comes from the coronavirus. Ascension B, maybe. Definitely it's being heard. So this is Billy Joel's The Entertainer, just with different words. I am coronavirus, and I've come to your town. I'll send you to a hospital and I'll shut your business down. I don't care if you're royalty or if you rule the land. I'm everywhere, I'm in the air. If you think you're slick, I'll make you sick with what you don't understand. Oh, I am coronavirus, and for those who cannot wait or practice social distancing for you, I have a fate, and I promise you won't like it, but ask me if I care. So if you wanna play, be on your way. If you get too close, you'll get a dose of something you can share. Oh, I am coronavirus, and for those who fail to see, prioritizing people beyond economy. You know that I am coming. You know it isn't if but when. If you simply wait, I'll contaminate what you deny. Then people die. See a better thing again. Oh, I am coronavirus, the terror of my age. I live to spread my message as we go through this stage. So do your best to fight me. You know that you will never win. 6 feet apart, well, that's a start. But you must be strong if you last that long. You can have your lives again. Oh, I am coronavirus, and I'm coming to your town. I'll send you to a hospital and I'll shut your country down. And I don't care if you're royalty or if you rule this land. I'm everywhere, I'm in the air. If you think you're slick, I'll get you sick with what you don't understand. Oh,
Excellent. That's the first song from the perspective of the virus that I've heard. Excellent. It won't be the last, I imagine, but very good. Thank you so much, Joel.
Yes.
See you again soon, I hope.
Yes, definitely. And thank you for doing this, David.
Oh, it's so fun. Thank you.
And it's really, I'm really enjoying sharing from across the pond with other songwriters doing really cool things.
That's my favorite thing about the internet is how it makes the ocean seem like it doesn't exist. Yeah. But the rest of the time, it doesn't seem so small. But yeah, in the internet, it's. See you soon, Joel. Take care.
Okay.
And last but most certainly not least, from North Carolina, I believe we have Lucy Murphy. How are you, Lucy? Thank you so much.
David, I'm from the annex of North Carolina, which is Washington, D.C.
Oh wait, why do I keep on? And you said that the last week too, and I yeah, nah. I see.
Well, because
you were in North
obviously
Carolina last time I saw you, and you're
Yes.
forever in North Carolina in my mind. But that's but I've actually seen you far more often in Washington D.C. over the past like 20 years or so than in North Carolina.
Because I am a DC native.
Yeah. And you're often singing at the same protests as me in DC over the years.
There it is.
Yeah.
I'd like to share a song that was written by a friend of mine who's no longer with us. One of my favorite piano players who is now on the other side. Her name is Lynette Brower, and she wrote this song, "The Power Within." And it has a chorus, and so I'd like to get folks to do the chorus with me. Open your eyes to the power within. Let me tell you, it's the way to win. The way to win, the way to win. Open your eyes to the power within. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna sing a line and ask you to sing with me the second time. I'll sing that line to you, sing with me, and we'll, so you can join in. Open your eyes to the power within. Open your eyes to the power within. Let me tell you it's the way to win. Let me tell you it's the way to win. 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 Open your eyes to the power within. Open your eyes to the power within. Whether you're near me, whether you're far away, I will always be by your side. Never you worry, I'll be there in a hurry. No need to run and hide. Oh, it's time we agree, it's up to you and me to see our way through the storm. Open your eyes to the power within. Let me tell you it's the way to win, the way to win, the way to win. Open your eyes to the power within. Like the moon shines behind the clouds, the truth can be hard to see. But when you awake to the morning sun, its power will set you free. Oh, it's time we agree, it's up to you and me to see our way through the storm. Open your eyes to the power within. Let me tell you it's the way to win, the way to win, the way to win. Open your eyes to the power within, the way to win, the way to win. Open your eyes and see the power within.
Gorgeous, Lucy Murphy. Thank you so much.
I'd like to say that People's Music Network is doing songs of, songs and poems, song and poetry swap once a week. I think this week, Charlie King will be hosting a special John Prine program. But, to check out peoplesmusic.org and join us.
I'm just putting that in here too, so we can be all like professional looking and have a look at that. Let's see. Oh, no, that's the wrong one. Wait a second. No, that's the wrong one too. Wait, I just did it. Here we go. Ah, yes.
Oh my.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lucy Murphy and People's Music Network. Yes, everybody should join that open mic too. And then when the pandemic is over, we'll be having physical gatherings again too, twice a year, hopefully. But then they're always in the Northeast, and I live on the West Coast, so there's some advantages to this internet phenomenon. I can join the open mics now too. Thanks so much, Lucy. Yeah. See you again.
Mm-hmm.
And this has been number 3 in this series of pandemic open mic Mondays. And as the name suggests, we're doing this every Monday, at 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern, noon Central, 6 p.m. GMT, 7 p.m. Central European Time, at a very bad time in the middle of the night for those of you in Australia or Japan, but a good time, reasonably good time for many other people, except that it seems like people on the West Coast don't necessarily want to get up at 10 in the morning and sing on a Monday. I don't know what the deal is. They must not have small children. Maybe I should have a different time for the West Coast people, because we're not getting many of these West Coast people. They exist. There are musicians out here on the West Coast, but apparently they don't get up at 10 in the morning to participate in an open mic on a Monday. But nice to see all those folks from the East Coast and from England and Ireland. And I look forward to seeing whoever's going to be coming around on next Monday, whether you're recurring guests or new ones. And whether you're recurring guests or new ones, especially if you're new ones, if you sign up for the next one at davidrovics.com/POMM, Pandemic Open Mic Mondays, then that would be great. And I look forward to seeing you here on the web. And if you want to support my efforts as a broadcaster and artist, etc., in this age of no touring, it was already the age of no CD sales. Now it's the age of no touring. So you must wonder how the musicians are surviving, and most of them aren't. But they weren't already. But anyway, I am, and that's largely thanks to your support. In fact, entirely. The government isn't helping much, but and if you want to be one of those supporters, then go to davidrovics.com/subscribe or patreon.com/davidrovics, and your support is very much appreciated by me and hopefully other people who like these broadcasts and these songs of mine and others. And all these open mics are also archived on my YouTube channel and elsewhere, such as the video section of the Facebook page of Popular Resistance, and also on my Periscope channel and Twitch channel and YouTube. And did I mention YouTube? Yeah, Facebook. Yeah, all the usual spots. And if anybody is looking for advice on hosting online events, or looking for a host for online events, I'm available to consult or to host or to sing, etc. And I will be interviewing people every day for the next, every weekday, doing open mics on Mondays and interviewing folks Tuesday through Friday. And same time, every time, 10 o'clock Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. GMT. And tomorrow I will be talking to a brilliant musician and author, originally from California, currently living in Switzerland for many decades now, Matt Callahan, who is the author of some wonderful books, including one that came out quite recently about the San Francisco music scene in the 60s and 70s. And he's got all kinds of great insights into the current moment, as well as history and music and a lot of other things. And so, yeah, Matt Callahan tomorrow, and my friend Syed Banura from Beit Sahur, Portland, Oregon, on Wednesday. And then the open mic again on Mondays, every Monday. So feel free to sign up for the next one. And thanks for listening, and thanks for participating, all you participants. And hope to see you again soon here in the Matrix, and also eventually back out on the streets. And remember, don't pay the rent. Bye.